Hello everyone. So in last class we studied about in last class we studied about how can we form sodium hydroxide, that is our base, and sodium hydroxide, it is also known as caustic soda. And we studied about this process, a process which is known as chloralkali process, and in which we obtain two gases, that is chlorine, hydrogen, and sodium hydroxide, a substance we obtained from this. And now today we are going to learn about and also we studied about the uses of hydrogen gas, the uses of Cl2, and uses of sodium hydroxide. Okay, and we also studied about their uses, and we studied that how we can uh, react this at hydrogen with chlorine, and this chlorine with sodium hydroxide, and this sodium hydroxide with hydrogen, and we can produce different type of substances. So in this series we studied about hydrochloric acid. So what we studied that how we can obtain sodium chloride by halite. What is halite? Halite is a mixture of all type of salt which contain all type of salt which contain magnesium chloride and calcium carbonate, okay, and more other salts. So how can we obtain the sodium chloride from these salts? The mixture of salt is known as halides. Okay, in this series we also studied this known as this process is known as chloralkali process, in which we obtain sodium hydroxide, chlorine, and hydrogen gas. Okay, so generally we in this session we are studying about that how sodium chloride is used to formation of these many types of substances, in which we studied about the formation of sodium hydroxide. Okay, and another thing we studied that how we can produce HCl, this is hydrochloric acid, by addition of hydrogen and chlorine gas. We studied this, and we started that how we can produce bleaching powder. So I'm starting from starting. Okay, that how we can produce bleaching powder. So in this process of NaCl chloralkali process, we obtain these three things, and we know that chemical industries is most of the chemical industries is depend on NaCl for the production of so many types of chemicals and so many types of compounds. So here we will learn about that how these combinations, okay, sometimes we combine this, sometimes we combine this, and sometimes we combine this, how these various types of combinations produce various type of salt. So in this series we studied that how sodium hydroxide can be produced. We studied how sodium hydroxide can be produced by chloralkali process, and now we are going to study a process in which how we can obtain our bleaching powder. So I'm starting from bleaching powder. Okay, so we whatever we are making or producing, we will produce by using these three things. Okay, these three things were obtained from chlor alkali process. So only this we will use this to produce all of the salts, all of these all salts. Okay, these salts. Okay, and NaOH is produced by itself in this chloralkali process. We know that NaOH is produced. So in this process, we will use calcium hydroxide, which is also known as our slacked lime, and we add this with this chlorine. Now how chlorine is obtained? Chlorine is obtained from chloralkali process. So it will form CaOCl2. It will form CaOCl2 plus water. So this is our bleaching powder. This is our bleaching powder. It is white and yellowish in color. And the factory which formed this bleaching powder, okay, this is bleaching powder, don't forget. And bleaching powder is not something that you have heard first time. It is very common in daily use. Sometimes you hear bleach which is used by females to whiten their skin or to lighten up their skin. Okay, so now I will tell you that what exactly it does. to make something white. Okay, it doesn't make anything white, but it just bleaches, it removes the color. So I will tell you. So this is white and yellow in color, and the company which produces it, or the plant, okay, the plant, generally a factory plant which produces this bleaching powder, it is known as Hassan Clever plant. I told you this yesterday. Hassan, HASEN CLEVER, Hassan Clever plant. Okay, so this is our calcium, and this is bleaching powder is common name, and the scientific name is very simple: calcium oxychloride. Okay, calcium oxychloride, and this is a salt. Why this is salt? Now you have studied about two types of salt. Okay, you have studied about two types of salt. One type of salt is containing one metal part and one non-metal part. We studied about this. One metal part is Na, and one metal part and one non-metal part. Okay, one metal part and one non-metal part, that is Cl. So it is NaCl. Okay, it also, it can produce MgCl, that is magnesium chloride. Okay, and another type of salt we learn, that is this salt is known as two metal and one non-metal. Okay, so in this we studied about sodium zincate. Okay, this is sodium and that is zinc, and this is oxygen. You remember this, that how we produce this sodium zincate. Okay, this sodium zincate, it was produced when a base reacts with a metal. Okay, now there is a third type of salt. Okay, there are so many categories of salt, and in this categories of salt you can there are depending upon pH, there are so many types of salt. Okay, and weak salt, acidic salt, basic salt, neutral salt. Okay, now we are learning about different properties of salt, and in this there are two types of salt. One is one which contain one metal and one non-metal. Second, which contain two metal, these two metal and one non-metal. Okay, sodium zincate, we studied this. And the third category, which contain one metal but two non-metal, one metal and two non-metal. Okay, now this salt is this one. This is calcium oxychloride. This is calcium oxychloride. Okay, this is a salt, and this is a salt which contain one metal, that is calcium, and this is another non-metal. Oxygen is a non-metal, and this is another non-metal. So this is another category. So this is a salt with one metal and two non-metals, and this is a salt with two metal and one non-metal. Okay, so we were studying about this calcium oxychloride. This is our bleaching powder. Now we will learn, first of all we need to learn about the pH of this calcium oxychloride. So as it is salt, and we studied that there are three types of salt. One is neutral salt, one is acidic salt, and one is basic salt. Okay, and we know that when weak acid and weak base react, it will form neutral salt. When strong acid and strong base react, it will form neutral salt. But acidic and basic salt will form when acidic salt is formed when there is strong acid goes with weak base, and basic salt form when weak acid goes with strong base. Okay, so properties are something different. So we studied about these things. And the CaCl2 is a salt, but which type of salt it is? Its pH is 11. Okay, so if we go with this pH scale, that is 7. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. Okay, it can go more. Okay, but here we are just allowed to learn only this scale 1 to 14. So its pH is 11, and we know anything above from 7 is known as basic, and anything down from 7 is known as acidic. So its pH is 11, so definitely this bleaching powder or calcium oxychloride is basic salt. Definitely it is a salt, but it is basic in nature. Okay, this is basic salt. Now there are so many uses of this type of salt and bleaching powder. There are so many types of uses. First of all, it is used to bleach cotton and linen. Okay, I will tell you how they bleach. So its uses is, first it can use to bleach cotton and linen. Both of them are types of cloth. Okay, cotton, if we know about cotton clothes, and linen is a type of cloth. So they are also used for bleaching of paper. Okay, the white paper exactly you found are bleached paper. Okay, when some industrialists or some garbage get collectors collect papers from all over the way, and after that they bleach this paper. They bleach this paper to make paper exactly white, what you get in your notebooks. Okay, so what is the reaction? First of all, I'm telling you the reaction. Okay, first of all, what should we do? First of all, we use this bleaching powder and this acid. Okay, I'm telling you about the process of bleaching. Okay, so first of all, take this bleaching powder and H2SO4. Okay, and it will form two salts, CaSO4. Okay, this is not mandatory. You are not it is not important for you to learn this equation. I'm just telling you, it will be better if you learn this, but it is not mandatory. It is totally up to you. So it will form calcium sulfate, plus it will form calcium chloride. Okay, and it will form HClO, and this is a new thing for you, and it is known as hypochlorous acid. Hypochlorous acid. Okay, so what should we do? We are going a process which is known as bleaching. Okay, now this HClO, which is known as hypochlorous acid, will again break down, and it will form HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. Okay, and it will form this. Oh, okay, I told you another reaction. Wait, I'm telling you about bleaching. I'm using CaOCl2, plus I'm using 2HCl, and it will form CaCl2 plus H2O plus Cl2. Okay, this is the reaction. So for bleaching of anything, for whitening, it is not like whitening. If someone is using bleaching, in there are so many bleaches present in cosmetic industries to make skin white, or some products claim that if you use this bleach, our bleach, you will become fair. Definitely bleaching powder never makes anyone fair. They just whiten up the color. Okay, they just remove color. They remove your original skin color, or they remove the color of any paper, or they remove the color of that cloth. It doesn't mean that they are making you whiter or fairer. It just remove the color. I will tell you how. Okay, so what should we do? This is the real process of bleaching. Okay, this is the process of oxidizing, which I will tell you after this. So this is our bleaching powder. What should we do? We have to react this bleaching powder. This how we make this calcium oxychloride with HCl, and it will form this salt, this H2O, and this chlorine gas. Okay, now remember one thing, that in the formation of this CaCl2, in the formation of this CaCl2, how we formed this CaOCl2? We formed this bleaching powder by using this chlorine. Okay, we formed this calcium oxychloride by using this chlorine, and in this process of bleaching, this chlorine is releasing again. It will release by this process. Okay, so as by this reaction, we are doing this reaction. Suppose this is our tub, and I want to bleach something, and I just added my cloth to this tub. Okay, and I want to bleach it. So what should I do? I will add the bleaching powder to this cloth, and I will add this acid to this. Okay, so by the reaction, this calcium chloride will form and this water will form and chlorine gas will form. So as soon as this chlorine will gas passes, okay, this is my cloth, it looks like this, or this is my paper, okay, this is my paper, this is my cloth, or suppose this is your skin, okay, whatever. So I'm going to tell you what exactly this bleaching powder will do. So this is anything which is containing color, okay, anything, okay. Now as this, by this reaction, okay, I'm doing this reaction inside and I put patches of this CaCl2 and 2HCl in on this cloth, and by the releasing of Cl2 will pass from some places on this cloth and the color of this will convert to like this, okay, it will form like this, it will form like this, it will form this, it will removing the color, so it will removing the color of this paper or this sheet, okay, from place which is from any place where CO2 is get passed, okay, it will remove the color. So this is the bleached t-shirt, you can see this is the bleached t-shirt. So the place you are getting, you can see it is white, okay. So this bleaching powder is used over these places, okay, this bleaching powder is used over these places with this HCl, okay, these places only. So this will form CaCl2, which is a calcium chloride salt water, and Cl2 gas will produce, and this Cl2 gas is removing the color and making it white. So it is not making something fairer, okay. If you use this bleach on your skin, definitely it will again whiten your skin like this, okay. So you can consider how it makes your skin white. And the same thing occur with papers, okay. So these are the places where bleach is used, and if we use bleach completely, it will totally convert to white, okay. So this is the use of bleaching powder, that how it whiten or how it bleaches fabrics, clothes, cottons, linens, and papers, okay. Now this is the second process, and this process is not bleaching, but this process is actually oxidizing. So first use of bleach is to whitening or removing color, and the second process is oxidizing, okay, oxidizing, okay. Now what is the use of oxidizing? First of all, let me tell you very much important thing, that this oxygen is our life, okay, but this oxygen can kill us, okay. When you take oxygen in molecular form, it will gives us life, okay, but if this oxygen will break down in this O plus O, it can take our life. So this atom of atomic, this is molecular oxygen, okay, because it is molecule, two atoms of oxygen, and this is atomic oxygen, okay. This atomic oxygen is, dangerous, it can take our lives, okay. So what does the bleaching powder do? What does the bleaching powder do? Remember the formula, CaOCl2, okay. Now it is having only one oxygen, okay. So how it works, it gives it this oxygen, or it releases its oxygen, or it frees its oxygen, atomic oxygen, atomic oxygen, okay, to any type of microorganism, any type of microorganism, okay, like virus, like bacteria, like fungi, okay, any type of microorganism. So when this calcium oxychloride, which is containing single atom of oxygen and single atomic a single atomic oxygen or single atom of oxygen is much lethal, toxic, and life taking, it can kill us, okay. So whenever it frees this single oxygen will kill this entire range of microorganism, okay. This can kill entire range. So this is the reaction. You don't supposed to remember this reaction, but it would be better if you remember this. Just I want to tell you about this, is so much important thing, okay. So if I want to oxidize something, why I need to oxidize something? I need to oxidize place which is much contaminated, or I think it is having more microorganism, like swimming pool. We know that swimming pool are much contaminated and it is a hub of microorganisms because so many people use swimming pools. Okay, sometimes I use it for toilet cleaners. Okay, so they are of use, much more use, and it can kill all type of microorganism. So I can use this, and we can also use this in drinking water. Okay, remember better, drinking water. Okay, now a question is coming to your mind that if our drinking water contain oxygen, okay, then what will happen if we drink this oxygen is utilized to this is our drinking water, it is much more contaminated. Okay, because we know that drinking water sometimes the water from pools and water from lakes and water from municipalities are much contaminated, and it contain many microorganisms like bacteria, fungus. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just adding my CaOCl2 to this. Okay, this is bleaching powder, and this bleaching powder will release its oxygen. It will release its oxygen, and this oxygen will utilize. This oxygen will utilize to kill all microorganisms, and this water will become very pure. Okay, so this is how we can use our uh, bleaching powder, because it is oxidizing agent. Bleaching powder is an oxidizing agent. It can give oxygen to anything. It can give oxygen. Okay, oxygen which is lethal, which is toxic, which is life taking, because it is a single atom of oxygen. So it can give oxygen to anything. So this is the reaction. In this reaction, I'm using this bleaching powder with acid. You can use any type of acid. It will form two salts, and this thing which is very of much important, this is hypochlorous acid. And this hypochlorous acid, this is known as HClO, again break down in this HCl, which is our acid. Okay, which is our sulfuric acid, and this oxygen is free in this process from this calcium oxychloride, and it can kill anything if we get to come in contact with this calcium oxychloride when it is of higher levels or in much higher amount. It can cause our death because it free, it can give us this oxygen, which is atomic form of oxygen. So there are so many uses. First use of this is to bleach or to remove color or to whiten paper, wood pulp. Okay, or to clothes. Second, it can use for oxidizing so many types of places like swimming pools, like drinking water. Okay, and they are used as oxidizing agents in many other factories. Okay, so this is what about our salt. This is bleaching powder. Okay, this is CaOCl2. Okay, it is not important for you to remember this entire reaction. Just remember one thing, that it can give you oxygen, free single oxygen. Okay, don't confuse with this. Now we are going to learn about second type of salt, which is known as baking soda. Okay, so here we are going to learn about second type of salt, which is baking soda. And we know that all things we are producing all things from sodium hydroxide. We are producing all things from hydrogen and chlorine, which we obtain from this chloralkali process. Because we know one thing, and we studied one thing, that the father of each these all these salts, the father of NaOH, the father of Cl2, the father of H2, the father of CaOCl2, and further salts we are going to learn. The father of all these things are NaCl. We know how we did electrolysis with this NaCl. Okay, we did electrolysis, we put NaCl, and chlorines were going here and hydrogen were going here. So we studied this on yesterday. So this is the father, and this contain all salts we are going to learn are formed by only these three products, which are our primary products from NaCl, that is hydrogen gas, chlorine, and NaOH. So these are our primary products. So now we are going to make baking soda. Okay, now we are going to make baking soda, and definitely we will form this baking soda from these three products. Okay, so what is baking soda? First of all, let me tell you, baking soda, we have studied about this. This is our NaHCO3. Do you remember? Sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, this is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, and it is also known as metal. This is metal. Okay, hydrogen carbonate. And if I use only these two things, they are also known as bicarbonate. So I can write sodium bicarbonate, and I can also write metal bicarbonate. Okay, so it is having four names. Okay, now we are going to learn about how we can produce it. So how we can produce it, our baking soda or sodium hydrogen carbonate, by using these same products. We are not going to use any other products. We will use this NaCl. We will use this. Okay, it is father of all chemicals, most of the chemicals, Cl2 and H2. Okay, so what will we do? I'm using NaCl, okay, which is father itself, and with it I'm using water, I'm using carbon dioxide, and same time I'm using ammonia. Okay, this is ammonia. Now a question will come to your mind that how this ammonia came. Okay, and now don't forget that this is, I told you on yesterday, this is ammonia and this is ammonium ion. Don't forget beta, this is ammonium ion. Okay, this is ammonium ion. NH4 is ammonium ion and NH3 is ammonia. So how it formed? We studied this on yesterday, that when we add hydrogen, okay, with nitrogen, okay, this hydrogen, okay, so already we have obtained this hydrogen, so I'm going to add this hydrogen with nitrogen, okay, and we can get ammonia. Okay, so in industries, the source of sodium hydroxide, the source of hydrogen and source of chlorine is this chloralkali process, or the electrolysis or chloralkali process is same. Okay, same, this chloralkali process we studied on yesterday, or we can say electrolysis of NaCl. Both of them are same process. We were doing same processes. So this hydrogen came from here. So here this NH3, okay, NH3, I told you H plus N, and we will form NH3. Okay, definitely we need to balance this. So here we get two things. We get NH4Cl. Now this is ammonia. Okay, this is sodium chloride. It doesn't need any introduction. H2O, water and CO2. Okay, now in this reaction, this ammonia will form ammonium chloride. Okay, now this is ammonium chloride, remember. Okay, this is ammonium chloride. It is having a charge, positive charge. So it is ammonium chloride. Okay, this is ammonium chloride. And another thing which is formed, this NH3 reacts with this, and one H is used and it is formed ammonium chloride. And second type of salt which is formed is sodium hydrogen carbonate, which we are going to learn. So our second salt is produced. This is ammonium chloride. It is another type of salt, and this is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium need, it doesn't need any introduction, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, so this is sodium hydrogen carbonate. It is also known as baking soda. Why this is known as baking soda? Okay, if you are having any problem or difficulty in understanding, you can ask me anything in chat box. So this is known as baking soda. It name suggests something. Baking means it is related something with food, and soda because it is a base. Okay, it can release. Why it is a base? Do you know why it is a base? Because it can release OH ions. Okay, definitely it is having OH ions and it can release. Okay, so now the first of all, let's study this. Okay, this is a salt. Sorry, this is a salt. Okay, and it does contain OH. So this pH of this sodium hydrogen carbonate or baking soda, the pH is 9. Okay, if we go with this scale, so I'm writing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and here 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anything from beyond these levels are acidic and basic. If you go here, it will be basic, and if you will go here, it is acidic. Okay, so they are acidic and basic in natures, and it is having pH of 9. So definitely this sodium hydrogen carbonate is basic in nature, definitely, but it is slightly basic. Okay, it is slightly basic because it is not having much pH, that's why it is slightly basic. So it is not much basic, that's why we can use this baking soda for our food items. This baking soda is used in so many food items, the food items which are generally fluffy in nature. So now I'm going to tell you what is the meaning of fluffy in nature. So this sodium hydrogen carbonate is having pH of 9, and only because it is having a less pH, or it is basic but not that much basic. I mean, if something is at pH level 14, you cannot use it for your eating purpose. Okay, and if something is at 13 or 12 or 11, even you cannot eat them, though it is, they are basics, but they are harmful. Higher basic content are also harmful for us. Higher bases are also corrosive in nature, but because it is mildly basic, we can use it very easily in our food items. Okay, so how it works in food items? Suppose we are making something Indian dish which is known as pakoda. Okay, pakoda, we are making pakoda. So in batter, okay, whatever you are using flour, rice flour, or chickpea flour, or whatever you are using. I will add some sodium hydrogen carbonate to this. Okay, and now I'm making my pakoda. So what happened exactly? Okay, now I'm cooking this, and as I'm cooking this, this is my cooking vessels. Okay, now I will found a fluffy pakoda. Fluffy means they're very soft and they are very spongy, they are fluffy in nature. Okay, so what is the reason of this fluffiness, and why I added this sodium hydrogen carbonate to my dish? Okay, because I want to make dish more fluffy, more spongy. Okay, something which looks like sponge. Okay, we have eaten so many type of pastries and cakes, they are much spongy, and breads, they are much spongy. So what is why I added this? Because when I heat my pakoras, which is containing sodium hydrogen carbonate, I'm cooking my pakoras, okay, which is containing sodium hydrogen carbonate. So when I heat them, okay, when I heat them, ask your mothers that why they use this sodium hydrogen carbonate in their pakoras. Generally, all of you are having baking soda in your kitchen. Just find out today, or you are having something which is known as sodium bicarbonate. Okay, this thing is you are having in your kitchen. You are having something which name like this, sodium bicarbonate. Okay, or you are having something in your kitchens which are known as baking soda. Ask your mothers. Okay, now what would happen exactly? I'm cooking my pakoras and I'm heating this. Definitely everything needs heat to cook. So it will form Na2CO3 plus water plus CO2. Okay, now this CO2 is of my use. Okay, while I'm cooking my dish, I use heat, and by use of heat, this sodium hydrogen carbonate will get break down, and by the breaking down, it will form these two things. Okay, this is another salt, we will study about this also, and water will get evaporate, and CO2 will also fix in these pakoras. Okay, the CO2 will trapped in these pakoras, water will remove out in the form of vapor, and CO2 will get trapped in these food items. and this CO2 is making my food very much fluffy or very much spongy or very much soft. So I want to make my food fluffy, and by that's why I have used this sodium hydrogen carbonate, because it is having very low pH. It is not that much harmful. I can use it in food items, and when I heat this, it will form this salt, which is sodium carbonate. We also know about this, and this water and this carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide is making my food, my idli, my dosa, anything, my pastries, my pakoda, whatever I'm going to cook. So this will create this carbon dioxide. So for my basic reason to use this salt for my food is to create a carbon dioxide which is trapped inside these food items, and it is making food items more spongy and more fluffy and more soft. So this is baking soda. Okay, we can eat baking soda. Definitely you can eat baking soda. Sometimes we use this baking soda, sometimes we use the baking soda when we are having acidity. Okay, yeah, we studied about milk of magnesia also, that milk of magnesia is also a base, and we can use this milk of magnesia when we suffer from this acidity. Okay, but this baking soda is also of much use, and sometimes if we are having acidity, we can use this baking soda, which is sodium hydrogen carbonate, because definitely it is a base, though it is a mild base, but it is a base, so it can also help in acidity. And sometimes if we are getting a sting, bee sting and ant sting, so the sting of bee or sting of bee or sting of ant, okay, they contain an acid which is known as formic acid. Okay, we know that bee stings contain acids, and that's why we have pain, much pain, because stings are acidic in nature and our skin starts to burn. All of us are very much aware and very much experienced of these stings. Okay, bee sting and ant sting. Okay, I cannot find the person who said that I was never stinged by any bee or ant. So it is much irritating. It gives much pain and irritation. Okay, so formic acid. So if someone is get stinged by bee or ant, okay, so this is acid in nature, you can use sodium hydrogen carbonate baking soda, because it is present in our home and it is a food item, so we can found it easily on in our home. So by using this, okay, so what happened, this formic acid will react with acid, this base, and we know acid and base when comes together they will form salt and water. So this is basic, this is very mildly basic, but it can calm down the effect of this acid, and we know that it can neutralize this acid. So no, we know one thing, that this base can neutralize this acid, and by this we can soothe our skin, or we can get rid of this burning sensation which is produced by bee or ant sting. So you can also use this. Okay, it is very good household product, and definitely you are having in your houses. So now we are going to learn about uses of this very important thing, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, first of all, cooking. Second thing, you can use it as a acidity controller. If you feel some acidity, you can use it. So it is also known as for neutralization in stomach. You can also use for bee sting or ant stings. Okay, so it is of much importance, and it is not a corrosive salt. Okay, not corrosive, I told you, not corrosive. You could be asked any type of question. It is not corrosive because it is mildly basic, so it doesn't corrode our skin, or it doesn't harm our skin that much. And some people use it on their skins to fight acne or to fight germs. So this is all about this baking soda. And one more thing I want to tell you, that it is also used in soda fire extinguisher. Do you remember this reaction? Soda fire extinguisher. Okay, now I will tell you, we will learn about this soda fire extinguisher. We studied about this, and how we add this. And there is a bottle which is filled with sulfuric acid, and we add something here, and when we struck this, it will form carbon dioxide. So we will study it on tomorrow, and because you are having next class, which is math class, and I'm finishing my class, and rest of the things we will learn on tomorrow. So till tomorrow, bye and take care of yourselves.